Alright, this is John Cola with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you, and today we're going to do something real cool. We're going to use this thing right here. It's actually called the oxyclone. So, you know, some people might think cloners are only for use cloning medicinal herbs, but it's really useful for a lot of other things. I'm happy to say with the new oxyclone, the price has come down substantially. Normally, like, cloners cost like $200, $250. This is the lowest price cloner I could find. It's about 50 bucks. Definitely really cool. What we're going to do today is we're going to clone this guy right here, or you know, more appropriately actually start to root out cuttings of this plant. This is actually called roselle. It's a type of hibiscus that has the edible leaves. The edible leaves kind of taste like sorrel. Besides the edible leaves, they have the calyxes, which are these little fruit pods. They're not really fruit pods, it's like the area that surrounds the seed. And actually they're high in anthocyanidins, which are antioxidants, and they're used for making jams and jellies and things like lemonade and things like that. So it's definitely really cool. Now this is a tropical plant, and some people say in the tropics that it can't even be invasive and take over, which I think is a good problem to have because it's all edible. You could eat the leaves like a salad green, and you could actually use these little calyxes as like a fruit. So this will only grow in the tropics. You know, it does not like to get cold, does not frost. I saw these at the Heirloom Expo. A seller was selling these and said, oh yeah, they're hardy here. I'm like, no, and they're not. You know, I've seen in South Florida where they've gotten hurt when they got a one single cold day and it, you know, died back to the ground, but then it came back later. In Northern California, where I have grown this in the past, outside it doesn't make it once it gets too cold. Even in an unheated greenhouse, you know, protected, it won't make it. So it does not like to get below freezing. The freezing temperatures are coming soon, so I'm going to clone these guys, keep them indoors, grow them through the winter, and then as soon as it warms up outside, I'm going to plant them outside so I'll get a good jump on the season for next year. I'm going to try to get this guy like super tall, like 6+ feet, man. It shouldn't be an issue. So in any case, to do this, we need to save the plant genetics. So besides starting from seed, which I could do, cloning is another technique that you can use, or rooting cuttings that you can use to save your plant. So certain plants can be rooted with a cloner like this. I think basil comes to mind, stevia comes to mind, mint comes to mind. Those are easy ones to clone, but other plants can also be cloned, but not all plants can be cloned. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you guys what the oxyclone is, how it works, and we're going to clone this roselle for you. So here's the oxyclone, and here's a rapid rooting hormone. I got this from monstergardens.com. We're going to go ahead and open this up and share with you guys what's in the box, how it works, and you're going to get to go through the process with me. Alright, so in the box what we got here is, looks like we got some instructions. Real men don't read instructions. Watch my videos though. And it tells you how to set it up. And then it looks like you got a little box here. Kind of just looks like a standard dish tub, you know, you'd wash your dishes in. It's a little bit more squarish, and then it has a specialized top with all these holes, and these are recessed holes that'll hold some inserts. So we also got the inserts in here. You get a set of black inserts, which are kind of like foam with a little hole in the middle to shove your cutting down into so that it can take root. And if you're gay or if you like bright multicolors, you also get a whole bunch of different pretty colors. Let's see. Otherwise, in here also looks like the only thing in here is some kind of pump setup. Right here. And I mean, that's all this system is. It's just a little tub with a pump and some foam things. Maybe you could even make one of these at home. So now we're going to set this thing up. There's only a few parts you get with this guy to set it up. Basically you get the oxy head right here. You get a little air tube vent thing, and then you get a little adapter piece. So the first step is you're going to take this adapter piece, and you guys can see like one side of this adapter piece is a little bit longer than the other, and the side that's longer right here goes into the oxy head like that, and then you're going to put the vent tube attached to this little outlet port right here. So the oxyclone is super simple, super easy to set up. You're just going to go ahead and take the oxy head here, which looks like a standard like pump, And then you're going to take this piece right here, and on this piece it might look fairly the same and just looks like a little connector, but actually one side is a little bit larger than the other. So if you put the one side in the oxy head and it's like really loose, it's like a loosey-goosey thing, not good. That's not the way it goes. You're going to flip it around so when you fit it in, it's actually fairly tight, nice and tight. I like nice tight fits in these parts here. And then we're just going to go ahead and put this hose on there. Once again, a nice tight fit. And then we're going to go ahead and put this guy in the corner. And how we want to orient this is just pretty much like this. We're going to basically use the suction cup feet and put it on the bottom and just suction cup it to the edge there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take off the little twist tie on the power cord. Once you got all the cords fed through, then you can put the top on. Now the last thing we need to do is fill this guy up with water. You need to fill it up with 1.75 gallons of water. So it's recommended to use filtered water. I have a water filter installed here. So whether you got a Boogie Blue water filter to take out the chlorine, or whether you got to go buy some spring water, the use of distilled water is not recommended. So we're going to get some water and fill this puppy up. Alright, so we got about 1.25 gallons of water, filtered water in here. We're going to add the last half a gallon to get up to 1.75 gallons of water. And that fills it, man, pretty doggone close to the top. A good thing they might have wanted done was actually put a fill line, you know, actually embossed into the side of the container that said fill here to make it a lot simpler. I guess once we got that done, what we're going to do is then put this top on. So we're almost ready to get cloning. I like that, get cloning. And what we're going to do is get our softwood cuttings ready. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out one cutting at a time. Make sure we don't tip the glass over because it's balanced here. And what we're going to do is we're going to basically strip off these leaves. Very important. Right now you can see the leaves are kind of wilting out. It's been probably like 12 hours since I harvested these guys, and they've just been sitting in water all day. So it's been waiting for me to do this. And so I'm just going to go ahead and snip these guys off. Now I'm cutting all the major leaf growage on there. I'm leaving some little buds that are shooting out because once we're cloning it, these buds may shoot out more. These little growth nodes. And then what we're going to do is we're also going to cut off the fruit here, and we're going to actually save the fruit and use these guys. And we're going to make a brand new cut right here. And we're probably going to go like, I don't know, maybe like 2 nodes up and then do a cut. And then we'll once again maybe go like couple nodes up and do a cut. And we'll go 1 node up and do a cut. So once we got all our pieces cut, what we're going to do is we're going to take our rooting hormone here, and today we're just using the rapid root. We're going to take and dip our cutting, and make sure you get the cuttings the right direction. Like it was originally pointed this way, you don't want to put them upside down, not a good idea. So we're going to go ahead and dip it in water, just put a little bit on there, shake it off. Next we're just going to get one of these guys in here, foam inserts, and we're going to stick our cutting right in through there, just like that. Now there is 2 ways to use the cloner here. You can actually have this the root actually sticking in the water, or you could have the root sticking above the water. The whole premise is that this will agitate the water so that if it's sticking above the water, it'll still get wet to allow it to grow. I'm going to kind of just do it by trial and error and kind of like do some in the water, some above the water to see which one works better, because I just don't know. Alright, I've been diligently working and getting some of these cuttings into the oxyclone. I got 3 more to do, so I'm probably going to pick the smallest piece here. I've been varying the different sizes of wood I've been using, so some of these have been like really thin, like this, like younger. And then some of it has been older and thicker wood. I don't know which one's going to root more readily, the younger or the older. And I guess we'll find out. In addition, I've been varying the depth. Some are actually sitting in the water, and some are going to be just above the water to get kind of misted. And I would encourage you guys, you know, if you don't know the answer, experiment, do like half and half. And that's what I'm doing, just simply to find out what'll work, and then next time I do this, I'll know, oh man, the younger wood worked way better than the older stuff, or whatever. And that's how I'll do it next time. Right, so here's the last one. Just gotta put in this guy. We'll probably let this guy be submerged a little bit, and we're gonna fit this in this last hole here where all the wires are coming out. Looks like there's a little valve here that it sucks air in, and the other thing is that you could actually hook up a pump to this. I'm not gonna actually do that. See if it works just like this. The next step is we'll just plug this guy in and see what happens. Alright, so once I plugged it in, the motor came on, and it's fairly quiet actually. If we lift this guy up, so it doesn't look like it's doing much. It looks like it's just pumping water through here. It's not like making bubbles or nothing crazy like that. I'm sure just because of the humidity in here will keep the roots that are not touching the water wet, and it'll be interesting to see how this works. So we'll go ahead and let this run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and give you guys updates along the way. So as to the rest of my cuttings here, what we're going to do tomorrow is actually we're just going to use the good old-fashioned method. We're just going to dip it in the rooting hormone, put it into some soil, water the soil, and see if they grow. Maybe the ones actually in the soil will grow better than the ones in the cloner. Maybe they won't. I don't know what's going to happen. So nonetheless, one of these ways that I'm using will work so that I'll have some roselle for next year. Alright, check it out. We're back. It's been probably about 2 weeks or so. I've had these roselle cuttings in the oxycloner, and you know what? Pretty much I forgot about them. I didn't add water, didn't do nothing to this stuff, man. I just, as you guys saw, I set it up, put the water in there to the level, put the rooting hormone on there, put it in there, plugged it in, left it plugged in. Area kind of had a little bit of light, but not too much. And I'm going to show you guys actually what happened. So let's lift off this bottom here and check it out. We got some root tedge, man. Root tedge, this root is looking pretty good. Let's see. Looks like to me some of these guys actually didn't strike. So these guys that were like, maybe not quite as far down, so like maybe hanging out a little bit above the water, they didn't strike actually. So that's not too cool. You know, we had a few of them like these guys here that just dried out. I don't know if that's because these were actually the tip cuttings. And these, it looks like all the other cuttings were actually not tip cuttings, or maybe one of them were. But I think mainly what happened was we just didn't stick these far down. So definitely looks like you want to stick these guys down far down and down far enough to work optimally. Some of these guys had more roots than others. This guy's a particularly good specimen, had lots of roots. So I could definitely say this oxyclone thing works. Now, is this oxyclone better than other cloners on the market? I don't know. I haven't tested other cloners. But they all work, on a very similar principle. And the thing to me is that this is the cheapest cloner that's currently available on the market that I found, and it lets you have, like 20 sites to clone a lot of stuff. So whether you're cloning, herbs or, edibles, this thing definitely works, has my seal of approval. Next, I need to actually pot these guys up, empty this guy out, and then I'm actually putting in some sweet potato spinach vines in here to propagate, as well as some other things. So anyways, if you're interested in getting an oxycloner, I've set up a special discount through monstergardens.com for you guys. So what you're going to do is click on the link below to get a special package of the oxycloner plus the same exact rooting hormone that I use in this video for a darn good price. Now, I like to root things like herbs. I mean, herbs are some of the easiest things to root, like your basils, right? If your basil is still living outside, pretty soon it's going to get too cold. You could actually top your basil, put it in this cloner, grow some roots on it, and keep it growing in the wintertime indoors. Things like the stevia also works really well with a system like this, as do the mints. And of course, my tree collards, I'm going to have to check those out one of these days in the cloner, see how they strike and see how it works. But cloners are definitely useful. I mean, you guys all know how much plants cost to buy in the store. Literally, if you guys have one plant going, you could actually take cuttings off that plant to make many more. And it's going to save you a lot of money in the long run, especially when you're growing in large quantities and want to have enough food for you and your family. So cloners, definitely my seal of approval. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Once again, my name is John Kohler with growingyourgreens.com. We'll see you next time. And remember, keep on growing. All right, this is John Kohler with growingyourgreens.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you. What I'm doing today in the garden is simply just taking my pre-made potting soil mix and